You will make it through. The fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah by your side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. You will make it through. The fitra is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through.
Imam Malik's call for reformation, because it was during, after the companions started dying off, guys, that's when the religion, the people started doing just like they're doing today, changing, deviating away from the original traditional Islam. And listen to what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. He said, the later part of this nation, this is what Imam Malik said. Imam Malik said, the later part of this nation will not be rectified except by that which rectified the early part. For those of you who don't know, Imam Malik ended up becoming the governor over Medina. Remember, he went to Medina to learn more about from the people who knew the companions. In fact, one of his teachers was Asma. And who was Asma? She was one of the direct students of Aisha, radiallahu anha. Okay, and look at us today. We're the latter part of this nation. The latter part of this nation will not be rectified except by that which rectified the early part. And what's that? Tawheed. So this statement attributed to Imam Malik, who was one of the renowned scholars of the early generations, this statement holds significant insight to the reformation that is needed for people like us, the later part of the Muslim Ummah. Imam Malik's statement asserts that the path for rectifying and improving our generation of Muslim lies in returning to the same principles and values that rectified the early Salaf. And what was it that reformed the early Muslims and made them the great men and women that they were? Tawheed, Aqidah, Wala Wal Bara. And that's what the Prophet meant when he talked about the calamities that will befall the later generations. All the adultery, the loss of trust, the wars, the drought, the homosexuality, adultery, fornication. One of the companions asked, well, how will the handful of believers even survive living in an environment like that? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, La ilaha illallah is what will sustain them. And that hadith is Sahih Muslim. So this is what is needed today. If we want to change the condition of ourselves, we have to fall back upon Tawheed, fall back upon La ilaha illallah, fall back upon that Shahada, upon allegiance and disassociation. We have to disassociate from everything that comes between us and Allah. That's what the companions did. And we have to formulate allegiances with each other and with the Quran and with the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad. Remember, the Prophet said one of the signs of the last hour is that his Sunnah will become forgotten. His Sunnah will become abandoned. And that's what the Muslims today have done. Many of the Muslims today are abandoning the Sunnah of the Prophet. They're replacing the Prophet's Sunnah with fatwa online. You guys are using Sheikh Google and Sheikh Wikipedia to replace the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You are using life coaches of today to replace the companions. Okay, we have to fall back upon the Quran and the authentic sunnah like those companions did. Okay? So Imam Malik's statement highlights the importance of preserving the legacy of the Salaf and utilizing their teachings as a guiding light for all subsequent generations. His statement emphasizes that rectifying our generation can only be achieved by returning back. Returning back. Y'all see what Salaf, why I'm on you, Zarina. Now y'all see, Anissa, why I am on y'all about understanding the meaning of that word Salaf. It's all about turning back to those authentic teachings and practices. Okay? It wasn't just limited to the first three. We have to get back to those teachings too. This statement calls for us to reorient ourselves towards the principles of Wala Wal Bara. Okay? And only when we do that will we be able to handle the trials. We'll be able to handle the fitan that Allah will send our way. Instead of doing this protesting, we're protesting against the qadr of Allah. Allah is in control. You think all this protesting is going to stop the war? There is no power. There is no might other than Allah. Allah is the one in control. We have to stop thinking that man is in control. There is no power. If all mankind were to come together to help you, they wouldn't be able to lift a finger unless Allah willed it. So all the protesting we're doing against Israel, it's not going to be of no help. We got to go to Allah, to that prayer rug, fall back upon Tawheed. Turn to Tawheed al-Rububiyah. Turn back to the lordship of Allah. Stop putting the power of Allah in the hands of man, like the prophet said we would do. He said the later generations, what's the source? Sahih Muslim. The later generations will put Allah's power in the hands of man, in the hands of the kuffar, thinking that the kuffar can change their affairs. No, there is no power. There is no might other than Allah's. The companions understood that. The Salaf of the early generations understood that. They were in battle from the time they converted to their death. They fought the Mongols. They fought the Romans, the Persians. They spread Islam throughout the ocean, throughout the world. They never protested the qadr of Allah. They knew it was the qadr of Allah for everything to happen. They knew that there was no power or might other than His. So they fell back. They fell back upon Tawheed. They implemented Wala Wal Bara. They distanced themselves from all that stuff like protesting and stuff that comes between our belief system. And they align themselves with what the prophet said, align ourselves with. Our powers in our supplication. We have one thing the kafir don't have: supplication. That's a powerful, powerful weapon, not protesting the qadr of Allah. So this chapter, that's why I want y'all to go back and reread it. This chapter has given us an understanding of the Salaf and the Khalaf, 2 generations within the history of Islam. The Salaf encompassing the early generation of Muslims who were a demonstration of true piety and knowledge for us that we can replicate in our era. Their exceptional qualities, their virtuous conduct should be guidance for us. Then on the other hand, the Khalaf represent the subsequent generations, like what we have today, of people who have deviated away from that methodology with your protests, with your signs, with your banners, your flags, and all of that nonsense you're doing. You're leaving, departing the authentic teachings of Islam, and you wonder why Allah ain't taking this war nowhere except to your doorstep. So you can see here that Imam Malik, he recognized the significance of returning to the path of the Salaf. And he recognized that that was the only way to reform ourselves. We Muslims today need to recognize that too. But we're too busy. We're too busy still trying to keep up with the kafir. We're too busy trying to be like them. We're too busy studying everything except Wala Wal Bara. We're too busy learning everything except the true Aqidah. Until we turn back, guys, and learn that correct Aqidah, we're going to remain like we are, lost. Does everybody understand that? So I'm going to stop right here.